Yes, we.
Thank you for coming. Well, that was good. I was right on it too.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Hello. Yes. Oh. Right. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome. As Steve mentioned earlier, the mayor is unable to attend this evening, so I'll be sharing the meeting. My name is Wayne Clark, and I'd like to call this meeting to order.
Thank you. Wayne Clark,
Yes.
Brian Frank. Here. Eric Torkelson. Here. Jessica Katzenmeyer.
Here.
Brendan Ranky. Here. Lisa Kuhn.
Here.
Kathleen Dagenhart and David Rashka are excused.
So we have a quorum.
Yes.
Our quorum will proceed. Next order of business is the approval of the minutes of our last meeting, February 28th.
That's so moved. Second.
We have a motion, second, and discussion. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Move on to agenda items 3A and 3B. That's the conditional use permit for the West Dallas, West Milwaukee Recreation Department for a proposed indoor recreation facility located in 1300 South 100th Street. Steve?
Thank you, Wayne. This evening, the first item here on the agenda is the rec department's second location that they're proposing to build on the 1300 block of South 109. This is basically the intersection of Highway 100 and Greenfield Avenue. With us tonight, I think behind me are Nathan and Shelley Strasser. Nathan's with the Growth Design Group, and then Shelley is the executive director of the recreation department here in West Dallas. So I said before, the West Dallas, West Milwaukee Rec Department has a facility right now on 68th and Arthur. And they're looking to build a second location in what was formerly Lane Intermediate School. And this is just sort of the picture of Lane Intermediate School. It closed in the 2022 school year. As a result of some consolidation going on with the school district. And just some pictures here of what it looks like from Highway 100 on the upper portion and the lower part, 109th Street. It is a double fronting lot. It fronts 109th, 108th, as well as Washington Street on the north. This is just a bird's eye view. Highway 100 is up here on the upper left portion, or sorry, Greenfield Avenue on the upper left portion. This is Highway 100, which runs north and south through West Dallas. In terms of the proposal before us this evening, it's going to happen in a series of stages, but the stage before us this evening is more or less to demolish the older portion of the school building, which is the 2-story and 1-story portion of the building further south on the site, keep the gymnasium that was constructed in 2006, and then Adaptive reuse that, I guess, use the gym area for a gym, but then also to sort of repurpose some of the rooms and offices within the second floor and first floor of the gym area for multi-purpose rooms, conference rooms, and supportive of the gymnasium. In the future, the rec department is going to come back to the planning commission for another 23,000 square feet of additions over 2 phases for a warm water pool and some other multi-purpose rooms within the building. They hope to sort of have an east and a west rec facility that'll serve the needs of the citizens of West Dallas, West Milwaukee. And if you've ever been to the rec before, the new location, it's very nice. It's very supportive. There's many different programs that they offer, from learning to play tennis to swimming, as well as a number of other pickleball, number of different sports and activities. Not just sports as well, but it's sort of about enriching the community socially and keeping that aspect strong. In terms of the proposed phases, this is just a look at the gym area, how they're going to be redoing that. It's an existing picture of the gymnasium on the lower part. And the gym portion that they're going to save consists of 2 levels. There's the first ground floor where the gym is, and then the second floor, which is currently some office space and so on. That's all going to be sort of converted into multi-purpose rooms, office, class space for rec programming. And then the future phase is off to the south. That would be built at a future date, sometime probably later 2025 or 26. Those details will come back to us at a future time. But that will be servicing other fitness needs as well as a walking and warm water pool area for furthering those endeavors. The demo area, again, just sort of the overall site's a little over 4 acres. They have submitted a stormwater management plan, and they're going to be demolishing not only the building area, which is roughly the footprint of that is about 50,000 square feet, but then also about roughly about 1.8 acres of actually disturbing the land area. A lot of the parking area that's around that older part of the school is going to be removed, replaced with grass, and to sort of make pad ready for future development when the next phases happen. This just sort of shows the existing elevations of the building. This is what's going to be left behind. Won't not be demoed. They're going to just continue to on the west elevation, facing 109th Street, which faces the neighborhood. Really no change there, just sort of freshening up some of the canopies on the west side of the building. On the north side of the building, that's really no change whatsoever. There's some pretty large looking HVAC, rooftop units, heating, ventilating units on the top of those can be replaced. They look massive on this elevation, but I guess when you look at them, when you're standing in a street either 109th or 108th or off in the distance, you really don't see it like this. It's just really sort of how it renders out when you're drawing it. This is a bird's eye view of that west elevation here, and then the north elevation. And this being the part that's going to be demolished. And then moving around the building, the south elevation and the east elevation. East elevation, really, again, no change, just sort of freshening up some of these canopies with some new paint. And then the one area that's going to change here is going to be on the south elevation. This is where the existing part that's going to be demoed. It's going to be, going to have this wall will have to be rebuilt slightly, and they're going to reface it with some brick. One of the recommendations in the staff report is to actually take a look at putting in a window or two within this area. There's a stairwell within this area, and staff is just recommending that. I think in the staff report we indicated possibly 2 windows, but I think maybe just 1 window would be sufficient. There is going to be another phase of development happening to the south. We just wanted something to take up this otherwise blank wall space, and maybe a larger window within the stairwell would be a nice opportunity just to let some natural light in the area, as well as it would look a little better from Highway 100. This is the area that we're talking about here on that south elevation. When this building comes down, this part of the gymnasium building will be exposed. And just asking for a window in that stairwell area. Landscaping, there's a landscaping plan that's been submitted, and really it's sort of preserving the existing landscaping that's around the property right now. It's actually in pretty good shape. They're going to be adding some additional trees along Highway 100, just for a little bit added interest. And then the backside of the site here is really going to be grass and just be pad ready for the future development phases that will be placed right here. Otherwise, the parking lot in this area is in good shape. There's existing landscaping islands. One of the things we're asking for in your Plan Commission staff report is a location of a refuse, and just making sure that's screened from view on 4 sides. And also in the staff report, the recommendation is there's an asphalt terrace area, sidewalk. This is public sidewalk here. This is the portion of the school building that's going to be demolished. This is 109th Street. So on the west side of the property, there's an asphalt terrace that was put in. Now, there's a lot of buses that used to pull up here and let kids off, so they didn't want to put grass in because kids will just trample it. It would never grow. So school's not in session and there any longer, so we're looking to actually have the rec department replace this with grass. So this is our condition, the conditions of approval from the staff report. Item 1 is really the bulk of it. Items 2, 3, and 4 are really the sort of standard conditions that we put in most every Plan Commission staff report. But the first part is really just a landscaping plan being submitted. That's since been submitted to us, so it's been under review with our city forestry department. We're also taking a closer look, but just on the surface, it looks like it meets everything we've been asking for. Part B, 1B is the refuse location that we talked about on site, just showing that, making sure it's properly screened. 1C is within the stairwell, adding an opening or 2 for windows. We'd be satisfied with 1 window opening. And then part D is a construction schedule for phase 2. Just having the school district talk to us about when they would anticipate coming back for that second phase, that next round of building. And the last part is part D, just is just sort of working with the city engineering department. There's been some discussion in that future phase of development. There's been some discussion about possibly extending Madison Street to Highway 100, and that may open up some opportunities for developing that 1 acre site in the very south end. It would be left over, but that's not a hard rule or requirement. We just wanted to sort of talk about that with them a little further before phase 2 really started. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Any discussion? Make a comment. This is tax exempt, right?
This is, yeah.
I certainly support and agree with the need for an additional rec facility. So I'm not against the facility, but I think the development department has to continue to look at how to raise their taxes, and therefore looking at projects that will lend themselves to taxable events. Any further discussion? Yes, sir.
So, yeah, and just to kind of base off of that, I think that additional possible development is what they're possibly looking at for a tax thing. But since we only have the one West Dallas, West Milwaukee, rec department, there's been a lot of people on the west side here. That would be basically be able to participate with the rec department. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that. With that,
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion, do we have
second,
a motion and a second, any discussion or further discussion? There being none, those in favor, any opposed, motion passes, thank you. The next item is the Tsunami Express Car Wash, a proposed car wash with a set-free drive-through service at 10928 West Avenue.
Thank you, Wayne. This is on the current site of the existing Federal Skate Center. The proposal is for a car wash with accessory drive-through. Property for the site is zone C4 for commercial use. And the car wash use and drive-through, accessory drive-through use service requires a conditional use permit. The proposed hours for the car wash are 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily, and on site will be 2 to 3 employees per at all times. Looking at the site plan, it's for a single-story building for a car wash, along with the vacuum pump house and canopy for payment kiosks. The canopy is on the northern portion of the lot, while the pump house is shown on the south side. There are drive-through lanes to access the car wash, sweeping throughout the entire site. Currently, access will be provided via 2 curb cuts along West Oklahoma Avenue. Shown on the site are 31 parking stalls. Staff recommends a slight reduction in this to align with our parking maximums, and to align with the similar tsunami sites seen on about 60th and Lake. The refuse area is shown on the western edge of the parking lot as well. The previously shown site plan did have some causes for concern for staff. We are recommending improvements to that site plan to better align with design review guidelines. The major component of this is shifting the building towards the south. So it has a closer setback to the road along West Oklahoma Avenue, and shifting the parking lot towards the back to enhance the visual aesthetics and buffer it from the public realm. As mentioned earlier, we have the reduction in parking stalls. It's not a major reduction, but it is a reduction from 31 to about 28, 26, 27. Additionally, per engineering's recommendations for traffic safety, they are recommending closing off 2 curb cuts, right, shown right here where that mouse cursor is, and partially closing off this curb cut right here. And the vehicles would instead utilize an existing access drive that would be that would require a cross access easement, and working with the other property owners, because we envision development behind this parcel in the future. We're going to ensure that there's compatibility with that in mind. A landscaping plan was proposed. It meets a lot of our requirements. There's a combination of shrubs, perennial trees, and evergreen trees along the retention pond shown on that northern portion of the lot. Landscaping would be needed around the vacuum pump house, but staff is recommending, if possible, to include this vacuum pump house in the building envelope itself, but we'd be able to work with the applicants on that further. The site plan changes that staff are recommending may alter the proposed landscaping plan, so we just have to keep that in mind. On the architectural plan, it's a very standard for this tsunami car wash. It looks similar to the one by Meyer on 60th and Layton. It's composed of brick veneer, cast stone, split face CMU, and EIFS. The use of EIFS is very minor, and it's just utilized around the windows and I believe some other architectural aspects, but we don't permit that in the city of West Dallas, so the architectural plan will have to reflect those changes. There are windows shown primarily on the south and north facades. Similar to the existing Coast Car Wash, staff are recommending more glazing, and this is due to enhanced visual appeal. As you can see on the east and west facades, there's that payment kiosk and then just the entryways for the car wash itself. Currently, the design review guidelines for this project are mostly not met, but staff has been working actively with the applicant on improving these and working toward a solution that will comply with our design review guidelines. We hope to see them hopefully next month at the next plan commission meeting. And they have their common if approved, their common council meeting would be on May 7th. So this so to better get those design review guidelines complied with, we are recommending that the plan commission hold tonight's item based on the comments on largely in one condition number 1 that's focused on the site plan, the EFS being shown on the materials, the along with increasing the glazing, some landscaping alterations, including replacement of one species that doesn't work too well as determined by the city forester. And then also we're looking for cooperation with and comments from the county on those existing curb cuts along Oklahoma Avenue if they have any recommendations, but our city engineering team has recommended closing those curb cuts. Additionally, there's just some standard procedural stuff that we will include as part of next month's agenda item 2 if this item is held. Thank you.
Obviously, the Redmond Group is here. The Redmond Group is the developer who's helping Tsunami get into business here at the site. Craig and Miranda are here, and you're welcome to come up or stand however you want to do it. Feel free to what you want.
Yeah, so Steve, we had chatted the other day, just about the proposals the city was recommending. So for the EFS, we do have a pretty minor area on the east and west side, just above the overhead doors. Happy to make that into cast stone. It's gonna look similar and no issues with that. Same with the glazing, happy to make that a little bit larger to use the city there. Couple items to the pump house. There was mention of trying to incorporate that into the main building. Just the way the pump house works with the stalls across the parking lot, it needs a separate facility for that. So we could try to combine the pump house and trash enclosure to just kind of create one accessory building versus having 2 separate ones. I don't think that'll be an issue to accomplish. A couple of things I just want to clarify, the parking lot, it's really where all the vacuuming happens. So it's not necessarily just a parking lot, like it's a main experience for a car wash. It's free to the public, so it's not just if you get a car wash, it's not just for customers. So one of the main goals of having that front and center on the site is just so one is safety for concern. If it's kind of back behind the building, someone's out there vacuuming the car and just kind of head down and working there. They're a little more vulnerable, so it's if you push it more to the side or the street side of the building, there's just more visibility. It's going to be well lit. And it's just a main concern there for safety. And then the other item is the curb cuts on Oklahoma. We've been looking at site flow and just how that works. If we're able to keep the east curb cut, that allows traffic coming out of Oklahoma to make left-hand turns into the site versus only having access to a right-hand turn to the site. So if all possible, we're really like to keep that, and we can work to try to find a solution there. I think that's pretty much all I had, unless any questions.
So you want to keep, and I just want to make sure I verify this. You want to keep the building in the middle and the stuff up in front. And what we're looking at, building up in front.
Yeah, so this is how we got the site plan now.
But that's what we're looking at, right?
So this is what staff is recommending, and this is what was submitted.
You're gonna have security cameras, that kind of thing in the back parking lot, that could part of the parking lot, so there's
I believe there is some cameras on that. Many exactly.
looking and thinking about the car washes we have here, and it's all pushed in the back. All the parking spots or the whatever, they're pushed behind, and we have the building up in front. That's when people come into the city, they want to see the building, not the parking. So I understand where you're coming from, but I gotta take a look, you gotta look at that, but I think.
Yeah, I know there is some concern with how the site access would work with the pay stations as well. Sure we can look into that, but that was one of the other areas as well to look at for us, just on how the site flowing works. Just kind of getting traffic safely through there without getting too many turns and access points.
Which I think leads me to my other question, I'm sorry. You want people coming from Oklahoma to take a left-hand turn to go into the car wash?
Yeah, so they'd be on the eastern end, yeah, so if you take a left-hand turn here, you'd be using the eastern entrance. And then you kind of loop all the way around to the east and north on our site plan to go through the sales booth, and then you kind of loop back around into the building for the car wash, and then back on.
So what we're saying is people are gonna be cutting across Oklahoma to get into the car wash.
For if they're going
The way you
to,
wanna do it without with the curb cuts, right?
yeah, we would just keep the east one. We could remove the west one without a problem.
My only concern with that is that you got Goodwill and the big complex right across from there. And right now it's a lot of traffic back and forth turning. I don't know if that would be necessarily the best idea, safety for traffic, especially in that location. So those are my two concerns that I would have.
Thank you. Other concerns, other issues? The thing that concerns me a bit is the news has been, the local news, TV and newspapers have been carrying this article on for about a month now, about the Take 5 car wash. Now, we have a Take 5 in West Dallas at West Lapham and Highway 100. The Take 5 recently purchased their car wash from Coast. Coast had a good reputation, seemed to be doing well, growing. And now the headlines are people can't get out of their contracts. My son went through the Take 5 a couple of weeks ago. He said the line was 20 minutes long. Everything is automated. Can't get a hold of anybody. About 8 people bailed out because they couldn't get through. And his experience is what is being written up in the paper. People cannot get to it. And I'm not here to tell Tsunami how to run a car wash. They know how to run car washes. But ultimately, when this comes back to us, Steve, I would hope we could get a good sense of how that staffing will be applied. Will there be somebody there that takes cash or credit card, somebody line, as opposed to being told, you gotta go to corporate, which is 1,000 miles away. And I'd like to have that looked at.
Yeah, our understanding, talking with Brian and Craig here, is that about 3 employees would be on site.
Yeah, so there's someone manned in the sales booth. So when people are going through, there'll be someone there at all times, and then someone's also inside the car wash, and then helps guide people through as well. And then there's usually at least one other person on site.
Steve, would you talk just briefly about the tax implication? We had Skate University there for a lifetime. And what were they paying in taxes? And what's the guesstimated amount that the car wash would be paying?
You are incredible role is there now. I think it's valued at $1.6 million. And then the Tsunami is valued at around $2.5 million, and this was 43 million. So the ballpark estimated the mill rate for the city, basically $27 per thousand. I mean, it was at probably about $50,000 annually, roughly for the new development here. That's incrementally a bit more than what's currently there today.
Thank you. Is there a motion to hold? And the second?
Second.
And any further discussion?
the market study look like for another car wash in that neighborhood? It seems like it's.
Speak up a little bit.
I'm sorry, what is the market study for the car wash in that neighborhood? I feel like it's oversaturated as it is, like, you can name probably 2 or 3 within a block's radius of that. I'm just curious, where that came from.
To be honest, I don't have that info offhand, but I know they do take that into account for sure when they're looking at sites. We do have a study where I can forward what we have on it.
They do seem to be popping up everywhere. I mean, the subscription-based model is apparently in some cases more attractive. And the VP, sure, have to be filled up again.
One more question.
Yes, sir.
The tsunami car washes, do you get a lot that go in? A couple years later, they're not working out, or is it just pretty much stable? Did anything close down on you, or anything like that?
Seems like it's been stable.
So we'll probably see this again in a completed form next month.
Yes.
All right. So we have a motion and a second to hold this item. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion hold carries. Thank you. We move on to the next item, which is 4A, 4B, conditional use permit for the salon suites of proposed beauty, wellness, and massage therapy. Is located at 11575 West Hill, Cracker Drive. Way.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Thank you. So Salon Suites is corner of 116th and Theo Trekker Way. Theo Trekker Way runs east and west between 116th to Highway 100. Nearby businesses are Quad Graphics, but this is on the opposite side of where Quad Graphics is located on the south side of Theo Trekker Way. It's been Salon Suites here tonight with us are Eric of the Trito Group, and then also Evan Dittmar, one of the future, I think, owners of the property. And the existing building is going to be retrofitted. It's hard to see this floor plan. Don't try to strain your eyes, but I mean, the whole idea is to sort of retrofit the interior of this building, 40 small, maybe 100 to 150 square foot salon suites, so that the owner, builds basically white box the sort of suit, and then the tenants that they lease to come in and fill individual little spaces, whether it be hair salon, beauty, eyes, nails, that type of thing, maybe massage therapy. The basic aesthetic type of tenants, the hair salons, the nail, all of that is permitted. The massage therapy goes to another level, though there's a conditional use required for massage therapy. There's been some instances in the city in the past where there's been some not so good business operators, police departments get involved for some of the oldest professions in the book, so to speak. But that's not going to happen here. But nevertheless, what we're concerned about here tonight is the conditional use. We're looking at that being just a standard for any type of massage therapy. They have to go through the formality of coming before the planning commission, then there's a public hearing before common council. And what we're proposing to the planning commission this evening, as well as the common council at the April 23rd meeting, is instead of coming back every time, the owners have indicated to us that maybe about 5 to 10% of the 40 suites are going to be massage therapy. And they may be there a year, they may be there 15 years, but we don't necessarily want to keep coming back to the council and planning commission every time we've got a little 150 square foot operator wanting to come in here. Things are going to turn over. We'd rather just come up with maybe a more universal, do this conditional use once now before the planning commission and again before the public hearing, and with a universal set of criteria. Basically, those criteria are A through E up here. We want the massage therapy operators to be state of Wisconsin licensed operators, maintain customer appointment records. All the customers enter and exit through common front door type of thing. That there's 24/7 video surveillance of those common areas, of the access points to the building. And then that it be open during daytime hours, 7 a.m. To 10 p.m. And the ownership is agreed to all those. These are also very common terms that we've used in the past for other massage therapy businesses that are, larger spas and so on, in bigger footprints. So it's really no different than those. We're just asking the plan commission your considerations for, operating in this manner, rather than coming back each and every time with each and every new operator. I think it'd be a little bit exhausting depending on, the attrition rate of businesses coming and going. This is the site plan. It's more or less pretty much the same. The building is about 12,000, close to 13,000 square feet. It does meet our maximum parking requirements. They should exceed 42 parking stalls. It's just all based on, 300 and 1 to 300. So at least one parking stall for every 300 gross square feet. And then they will be possibly relocating some of the ADA stalls. There's a ramp, an ADA ramp that's shown up in front here that may be installed. However, there is an existing ADA access point back here. Depending on which route they go, they'll be shifting, possibly relocating the ADA parking stalls back here, or they'll be keeping them up here. Otherwise, the site's in good condition. There's a lot of green space. The landscaping seems to be alive and well. One of the conditions of the staff report is just to enclose the dumpster area. It's currently located here at the very south end, kind of dislocated from the building. Whether it stays there or not, we're not sure, but we're asking the developer to get us confirm where they want to put the dumpster and screening view. The exterior is primarily going to be repainted and new signage added. That's it. So we're recommending approval, subject to the conditions in your staff report.
Steve, in the staff report, where's the language that you're looking for? So if every time somebody rents or moves out of one of these facilities in the massage area.
Yeah.
Which language is it?
And that would be condition 1. We can do maybe a better job of maybe clarifying that to the council. Writing so that
If you would, please.
if they agree, If they don't, we'll try again.
I think that makes perfect sense. I've been around long enough to know and remember when we had that series of untoward activity with the massage therapists.
Yeah.
And it was a ugly publicity and a tough thing to deal with. And our police department became a full-time undercover operation. How can you say that this operation will not have that problem?
Well, if it does, I can't say it. And it could happen. I mean, things can happen in McDonald's though. So it's not like, we have a police department. We hired our police by the year. So yeah. Or we can call them if need be.
All I was doing is going back to the fact that you said this won't happen here. Go ahead.
The ones that were having nefarious in the dealings, wasn't that just massage parlor and nothing else included with those?
Right.
That's where I think where this one will be different, because we're gonna have, I think they're gonna probably police themselves even a little bit too on that.
Right.
What about limiting how many massage therapists can be in there? And you said 10 to 15?
Yeah, again, there's 10 to 15% of the 40 spaces. I mean, it's certainly an option to sort of consider maybe placing a percentage on that.
Yeah.
Maybe we just want to talk to how that.
Yeah.
Evan Zitmar, we just based off of our previous location, we realized that anywhere from 10 to 15% are, so obviously it's 10 to 15% of our business model.
Sure.
So that was kind of the angle we were coming from. Could it be a little bit more? Sure. Could it be a little bit less? Absolutely. I think we're open.
Would you be opposed to limiting? That's why I'm just asking.
Yeah, within reason. I don't know what that would look like in this area, but. Yeah.
I had a question on the ADA ramp. That current ADA ramp, is that currently by the main entrance, or is that kind of like in the back corner from what the way it looked like on the plan there?
Yep, so that is on the south side of the building. We're looking at north-south right now. The main entrance is on the far north end of the building, and then the ADA entrance is on the south. It is a ramp, but it does just lead to a main corridor.
Because I'm thinking personally, I would like to see that ADA ramp built there for the main entrance, so that they have the same access as everybody else does.
If I could add to the ramp, right now we have a ramp like with railings, but we think we can make it a path, we say at a 5% pitch. And we kind of swing it out and make a nice landscape area to prevent erosion. And then also have a nice front entrance where people can have an accessible main entrance, because that is the main entrance really. And then we're seeking to satisfy disproportionality with putting that in and working with Steve and Mike on that one.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make a
to approve? Thank you, Eric. Do I have a second? Thank you. Motion is second. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. We'll move on to item 5, which is the sale of approximately 650 square feet portion of land on property located at 6200 National Avenue.
Thank you, Wayne. Ramos is here, the owners of Antigua restaurant at 6207 West National. And that's the property that's outlined in blue here. Antigua is interested in offering some outdoor dining. And they've done that before with like a parklet of sorts, where they actually install a wood deck within the city parking lot of the west here. And instead of just setting that up, taking it down year after year, they'd really like to do something here on city land. There's currently a landscaping island right here, about 700 square feet. And they like to basically buy that from the city. And the procedure for buying land from the city is that the city has to, an offer purchase has been made at about $10 a square foot. And that is being brought before the March 5th Common Council, and Council referred to Planning Commission. Planning Commission is the one that's more or less to determine is outdoor dining compatible with the future, 2045 common plan for National Avenue in this case. And I guess planning says, yes, it is. This is a commercial corridor, National Avenue running east to west throughout the city, eastern limits to western limits, and the eastern portion of the city, especially, is very mixed use, very commercial in nature. A lot of restaurants, our farmers market, different retail opportunities. So outdoor dining plays right into that equation, and that type of land use that's there and that's continually to thrive and be created in this area. So creating converting this landscape island to an outdoor patio that's going to help support a business and further create that destination that the use 6 Points farmers market neighborhood is definitely in the right direction with our future plan for the city. So staff is recommending approval. The next step would be for this to go before the Common Council. Now, if council approves it, and it'll be a public hearing before council on April 23rd, then with that assurance, Nick and Sitlali, owners of Antigua, would then get to work on putting together, working with architects, put a plan together, possibly come back to the planning commission to share that plan with us and see how many tables they want to put out there and how nice it's going to look.
Thank you, Steve.
Nick, anything else, man?
No, basically, we want to make sure that we stay competitive with how fast the neighborhood is moving. We opened in that area, that we opened about 4 years ago. We have put in a lot of effort into it. We have been members for really having members in the community for the last 17 years with the restaurant. This would be a great addition. I think that we will be able, like I say, to be competitive with other restaurants in all the rest of the area. There's a lot of interest. We just had an article just mentioning that we're going to have a patio, and people are really happy about it. I'm talking about it and making mentions and everything. So we're really happy that this could happen. We're really looking for this.
Thank you, Nico. Any discussion? Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. On to number 6. That's something to do with cats and dogs and other things and rabbits and stuff, but
Yes.
ordinance to amend the zoning code to prohibit the retail sale of dogs, cats, and rabbits. Are you in charge of this, Steve?
It sounds terrible. You can still keep your dog or your cat or your rabbit if you have one right now, but if this ordinance were to pass, things like pet stores and so on couldn't sell those type of animals. The issue is that it's sort of based on the whole idea of animal welfare, the concern with puppy mills, rabbit, cat type of mills, and just sort of taking the guide of the Humane Society and Maddox Milwaukee, advocating against animal mills. This is all about sort of that animal welfare. The ordinance is just based on prohibiting dogs, rabbit, and cat sales in the city. Now, if you currently sell a dog, rabbit, or cat, you can continue to do that, considered a legacy type of use or grandfather. But it would just be any new business that wants to do that wouldn't be allowed. So what's happened here is that basically, working with our city attorney's office and Jack planning, we basically created some definitions. An animal sale definition, defining it as retail sale of a dog, cat, or rabbit, except any sale by a person who is also using the same lot for an animal shelter. An animal shelter is defined as a nonprofit organization like Maddox or Humane Society. And then the retail uses, you can see within our principal use table, which is sort of condensed version here, that animal sales not being permitted in any of the zoning districts across the board. So this isn't anti-animal. I guess the way we're looking at this is that we're really looking at this ordinance to sort of be supportive of animals and humane treatment of animals. And you can certainly still go buy a dog, a cat, or a rabbit at an existing business that currently sells those. There really aren't many that I can think of. I don't even think Pet World sells dogs anymore. I'm not sure about rabbits, maybe. That's
Small animals.
it's been a number of years since I've been there, but yeah. But other than that, I mean, that's will be presented to our common council on May 7th. First thing discussion.
Would this prevent private breeding businesses too?
Yes, yeah, so we have, I don't know that we have any in West Dallas, that's not already considered a shelter or a nonprofit organization. But it would any new business like that, it would affect.
Steve, do the surrounding communities have such an ordinance?
I don't know, why honestly, I'd have to take a look. I would guess that maybe pet stores are allowed. I mean, many cities around, I don't want to say around us, but I know many cities haven't maybe updated their zoning ordinances with this respect. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them just lumped in as retail sales or maybe specifically called out as pet stores, not excluding those types of animals.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Yes, sir. Second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item moves on to the common council. Thank you. Next is number 7. A certified survey map to consolidate 2 lots into one at 5500 and 5520 West Lincoln Avenue.
Thank you, Wayne.
Jack, thank you.
So for this lot, as you can see on the picture shown on the right, that there are currently 2 different lots on about 55th and Lincoln Avenue, where Electric Avenue meets Lincoln. There's a proposal to combine these 2 lots together. At this time, there hasn't been any development proposed, but the property is zoned C2, which supports a variety of commercial uses and some residential uses may be used for the site as well. As stated before, the proposal is to combine the 2 existing lots into one. In the C2 zoning district, there are no minimum or no maximum or minimum lot width requirements. So the proposed survey complies with all zoning requirements on the dimensions. So that works for that. And then any future development would need to comply with the zoning districts and also would be subject to design review before the plan commission.
Jack, you've done a wonderful job. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That's approved. We move on to number 7. Signage plan appeal for Reunion Restaurant located at 6610 West Greenfield Avenue.
Thank you, Wayne. This is for the Reunion Restaurant. They're proposing 2 different signs. One is projecting sign, which is 6 foot by 4 feet 8 inches. Total square footage of 28 square feet. This seeks an appeal because the projection is greater than 4 feet. They are proposing the projection to go greater than 4 feet because of the existing canopy structure blocking the view. So they want greater visibility. Additionally, they're proposing an additional wall sign. This is a smaller one that is 10 square feet. This also seeks an appeal as only one wall sign is permitted per code. They have an existing one along this balcony, but again, are seeking greater visibility because of their limitations of not having a freestanding sign. All signage is in compliance with our aggregate maximum of 125 square feet. And we will look at the proposed site or sign plan. That being said, staff is recommending approval of the signage plan.
Thank you, Jack. Any discussion? Those in favor, not those in favor, we'll strike that. We'll get to that in a moment.
Move to approve.
Move for approval. We've got that. I'm a second.
I'll second.
We've got a second motion, a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We will now move on to number 9, which is site landscaping architectural design review for proposed improvements within city pedestrian plaza right away downtown West Dallas at 1300 Plaza South 72nd.
Thank you.
Steve, thank you.
This is it's a location of Wednesday Night Live. There's a Wednesday Night Live event that happens within this portion of 72nd Street Wednesday nights during the summer seasonal events, and that was all kicked off a couple of years ago. The city developed a pedestrian, what's called a pedestrian plaza, in a 60-foot wide by 120-foot swath of 72nd Street, from Greenfield Avenue to the alley in the background. Here's Greenfield Avenue in the foreground, and then 72nd Street, and then the alley is right about where that shadow ends. So that's the extent of where you see all these people sitting, come together for a community event on Wednesday nights. There's usually musicians, music, food, maybe a little bit of light hors d'oeuvres, and then I think beer and alcohol. So what sort of inspired a lot of this is some new private development. The Deco is an event space. It's a former JCPenney department store. It goes way back to 1938. And then over the years, it became something else, and now it's an event space for weddings, corporate events, and so on. The owner of that is very interested in activating this street. And it was done on a temporary sort of pilot program basis last year. It went, I think, successfully. And the owner is interested once again to sort of work on an operating agreement with the city, go before the city's council, and do it again, perhaps even on a more permanent basis. They have some more permanent types of features that they want to build into this, as well as landscaping and some other features that they really like to sort of enhance as the future goes forward. With that, I mean, there's too many words here. Let's just keep moving on. But I mean, this is sort of the area here that we're talking about, Greenfield Avenue, and then behind that's the alley. The city's behind all the buildings in downtown West Dallas. You have municipal parking lots, all along, east and west here, and this is Greenfield Avenue, and it's on a grid. And then so roughly about almost just shy of 400 municipal parking lots downtown West Dallas that are supportive of the business improvement district. The bid. And then with that, we're on a grid, so there's naturally street parking as well. So there's no shortage of parking within the downtown area. So this is just a view of kind of the existing street here. And then kind of what's proposed, the more permanent attributes with the stage setups, bar, umbrellas, overhead hanging lights, landscaping features that are going to But the owner of the deco would like to sort of invest and make those improvements within this pedestrian plaza. Now, the pedestrian plaza stays public, it's still a public street, but it's just designated as a pedestrian plaza. So we're just, what's been done in the past is offer the owner of the deco a privilege to use it on certain nights of the week, for certain events and for a limited time frame. Coming back again, the details of all that need to be worked out and will be presented to common council as they get worked out. But tonight's mission here at the Plan Commission is really just more or less to show you the plans that have been put together for this endeavor, and then to refer this to the Common Council Board of Public Works for further study. And then council ultimately has the final say on the privilege agreement and issuing the extension of licensed premise and so on for alcohol and so on. But so here's Greenfield Avenue on the left. There's existing buildings framing both east and west of the pedestrian plaza. And what Walter Holtz of the Deco is proposing is, you know, an outdoor covered stage area on one end, and on the other bookend would be a music stage area. In the middle, you'd have a small fire pit area, seating in between the stage and the outdoor covered seating area, which will also have a bar in this location. They're showing some landscaping along, you know, flanking on each side of the stage. And then these are barriers, concrete barriers that would be installed here on the south end of 72nd, buffer from Greenfield Avenue, as well as on the north side, buffer from the alley, just to avoid the errant car accidentally turning down that way and causing more damage. So that's the basic plan view. One thing I should have noted is that there are sidewalks, city sidewalks that run through this area here and here, and those would be maintained as part of all this. Now, this one especially would be maintained and kept open because this building here is a doctor's office on the ground floor with apartments above. So we by all means want to keep that free flowing so the public can always walk through here no matter what's happening in this area. They can still walk through and access the building, or just if they're out for a walk, they can just pass by. Just a cross-section view on the top here, just showing what we just explained down below. Kind of see the outdoor stage here, or seating area and bar, and then the outdoor stage here with all the seating and fire pits in the middle. Just another 3D rendered view. And another view looking towards the stage. Some of the details as far as the materials that are proposed on these more permanent structures are, you know, the sidewall, the sheathing, the siding, I guess on the sides, a shed style metal roof, the treated wood posts, planters within a buffer zone between the barriers and the stage. And then aside from that, proposing some traction like Trex decking. All of this could be movable too. So while it could be anchored in temporarily, it could also be when the event's done or when winter happens or something like that, they can actually move it, disassemble it, and store it somewhere else. So it's meant to be modular in nature, but yet more permanent at the same time to give it a little bit more credibility, I guess, in terms of, you know, taking that otherwise empty street for 10 cars and using it for, you know, supporting some kind of more active, fun lifestyle. So our recommendation is for Planning Commission to refer this to the Board of Public Works for consideration of a privilege agreement and then the site landscaping plan. Staff doesn't have any recommendations on the landscaping. We feel the things that have been submitted here are good. You know, more details could come forward, but we'll recommend just submitting this to the council. We'll also want to note that this does fit in quite well with our comprehensive plan. One of the recommendations in the transportation section is just sort of, you know, transforming streets into desirable places. You know, sure, they can still be used for cars, but then there's also opportunities to do something like this, where you create a more vibrant space to get people to come, sit down and spend a little more time in your city's downtown and spend money, not only there on 72nd Street, but maybe they get up and walk across the street and go over to Camino and have a burger too. So it's not only helpful for, you know, the city's downtown district, but also for the businesses within the downtown adjacent areas as well. So it's all about attracting new life otherwise just ordinary street. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve. There a motion to refer this to?
I'll make a motion to refer.
Give a second.
Second.
A motion a second, any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes, thank you. Next is number 10. Vacation and discontinuance of an improved alley between West Grant Street and within the 2200 block of South Modern 8th Street.
Bad joke. So, yeah, this is the vacation we're taking right here. And a small little dead end alley that runs into, if we were to go through, it would run into the Lincoln Plaza Shopping Center at Lincoln, Highway 100 in Lincoln. This is the Health Hut here, you may recognize that building, but this street was constructed last year, also with the help of a MMSD green grant. It's got pervious features in the middle for drainage, and whatever doesn't drain into the previous neighbors here gets caught by the storm sewer and then runs out or runs out the grant. But this is going to be engineering department sought sponsorship. Alderman Haas offered his Alderman Reinke offered their sponsorship towards advancing this to the common council for consideration of vacating this. What vacating does basically is to split this down the middle. This half of the alley goes to the commercial, it's a BP over here, and this half over here goes to the property owners on the right. All of those property owners, except for this one here, which has access to their garage, aren't interested in the additional land. They concede their right to that land to this property owner. And this property owner would still maintain access to their garage, and they would benefit from a brand new driveway, accessible from Grant. So best driveway I've seen, but yeah. So that's the engineered technical drawing that's been prepared, but roughly 153 feet long in total and about 20 feet wide. Easement for the storm sewer, I believe, would be maintained. But aside from that, this would go before the council on June 11th. There's class 3 hearings, so property owners are going to get notified, will get published in the paper, and ultimately goes before council on June 11th.
There a motion to approve?
Real quick, taxes that gets added on that,
Becomes
right?
taxable, yeah.
Motion to approve.
A second?
Second.
Second, any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes, thank you. We move on to the last item, 11, project tracking update. Is that you, Jack?
Sure. Great point. So on the right are some photos of the various projects that are in various stages of completion. Under construction, shown in that first image is the eye care specialist on about 102nd and National. Then the 3 leaf projects for the apartment buildings, it's going up quick. The elevator tower is going up. And then Caribou, their structure is mostly built out as well on 102nd and National. I don't have a photo of Duncan, but they have the foundations. I completed, I believe. The school district building, that is nearing completion, along with the former Miramax building, which will host West Allis Medical Office. Best in class remodeling is nearing completion. I think one more side window needs to be replaced, but overall they have most of their project completed. And at the previous common council meeting, the 2045 comp plan was approved by common council. Any other questions on that?
Jack, on Caribou, is that drive-through only?
It is drive-through accessible, and they do have a walk-up counter along National Avenue right here. That mouse cursor is.
Is there inside seating?
No, there is not inside seating. I believe there is a bathroom now that's accessible, but there is not indoor seating for it. There is a few outdoor tables, so.
Thank you. Any comments or thoughts about any of this? Hearing none, we'll call an end to this. I have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
We got a second from somebody, and all those in favor, we are adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah.